How often have you found yourself constantly checking your phone, hoping for a message from someone special, only to realize they never seem to think about you the same way? It can be a frustrating experience, but there are a few psychological tricks that can make them truly miss you and think about you when you're not around. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Let's see that by using these techniques, how you can create a situation where they are desperate to see you again. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's get started with the rule number 1. Don't always be on their line. If you're always texting or calling them, you come across as having no goals or purpose in life, which isn't attractive. You're not giving them any space to miss you. Think of it like eating the same food every day. Eventually, you'll get tired of it. The same goes for people. When you're always available, there's zero chance for them to feel your absence. Human brains are wired to crave what isn't readily available, and we always desire things of high value. By not being constantly available, you spark their curiosity and make them wonder about you. Overdoing it with texts and calls shows desperation, which isn't appealing. We will tell you a story right now, then you can understand this. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Emily sat on her balcony, staring at her phone. Her thumb hovered over the message thread with John, the man she'd been seeing for a few months now. She'd grown used to their daily exchanges, texts, calls, the sweet goodnight messages, but lately, something felt off. John had started responding less frequently, and when he did, his replies were short, almost perfunctory. Emily couldn't help but wonder if something had changed, or worse, if she had done something wrong. In the quiet of that evening, Emily's thoughts began to spiral. She replayed their last few conversations, dissecting every word, every pause. But the more she thought about it, the more confused she became. Why was she feeling so anxious, so desperate to hear from him? And why did she feel a pang of fear every time her phone lit up, hoping it was John but dreading it might not be? As she pondered, Emily remembered a conversation she had once had with a friend who was wise in the ways of relationships. Emily, her friend had said, "You've got to stop being so available. Don't always be on their line. If you're always texting or calling them, you come across as having no goals or purpose in life, which isn't attractive. You're not giving them any space to miss you." At the time, Emily had dismissed it as game playing, something she wasn't interested in. But now, as she sat there, phone in hand, she began to see the truth in those words. Emily decided to put her phone down, resisting the urge to reach out to John. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she needed to take a step back, not just for him, but for herself. She realized that her constant need for reassurance, for contact, was stemming from a place of insecurity. She had been seeking validation through John's attention, rather than finding it within herself. And that was a dangerous game, one that would only lead to more anxiety and less confidence. Days passed, and Emily focused on her own life. She threw herself into her work, spent time with friends, and picked up hobbies she had long neglected. She began to rediscover parts of herself that she had lost in the whirlwind of her relationship with John. And as she did, something interesting happened. She started to feel more secure, more in control. The urge to constantly check her phone lessened, and she realized that she didn't need John's attention to feel good about herself. Meanwhile, John noticed the change. He found himself wondering what Emily was up to, why she wasn't texting as much, why she wasn't always available. He missed the little messages she used to send, the ones that made him smile in the middle of a busy day. He missed the sound of her voice, the warmth of her laugh. And that's when it hit him. He had taken her for granted. He had grown accustomed to her always being there, and in her absence, he realized just how much he valued her. This shift in dynamics didn't just affect John, it affected Emily too. She began to see that her value didn't diminish when she wasn't in constant contact with John. In fact, it increased. She was no longer the woman waiting by the phone, but a woman with a life full of purpose and meaning. And that made her all the more attractive, not just to John, but to herself. John eventually reached out, asking Emily if they could spend some time together. He was more attentive, more engaged, and more interested in what she had been up to. Emily could see the difference in him, but more importantly, she could feel the difference in herself. She wasn't waiting for his texts or calls. She was living her life, and he was a part of it, not the center of it. This experience taught Emily a valuable lesson about relationships. Sometimes, less is more. By giving John space, she allowed him to miss her, to appreciate her, and to realize her value. But it wasn't just about John, it was about Emily too. She learned that her self-worth wasn't tied to someone else's attention. She was valuable, with or without constant contact, and that realization was empowering. The story of Emily and John illustrates a fundamental truth about human behavior. People are drawn to what seems slightly out of reach. When you're always available, there's zero chance for someone to feel your absence, to miss you, to value you. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about understanding the psychology of desire. Human brains are wired to crave what isn't readily available, and we always desire things of high value. In the end, Emily and John's relationship grew stronger because they both learned to balance their needs and desires. They found a rhythm that worked for them, one that allowed for connection without suffocation, for presence without desperation. And through it all, Emily learned the most important rule of all: she was worth the wait, worth the effort, and worth the love she gave herself. One rule stands out that can transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself: show your complete self. This is not about pretending to be something you're not or putting on a facade. It's about embracing and revealing every part of who you are, your passions, your quirks, your strengths, and even your vulnerabilities. When you allow yourself to be fully seen, you send a powerful message: you are whole, independent, and thriving, with or without someone else. This is a cornerstone of healthy relationships and personal fulfillment. When you show your complete self, you demonstrate that your life is rich and meaningful on its own terms. You're not relying on someone else to fill gaps or to make you feel complete. Instead, you're living a life that is already fulfilling, filled with activities, interests, and goals that excite and inspire you. This isn't just about attracting others, it's about cultivating a deep sense of satisfaction and joy within yourself. When you wake up every day feeling enthusiastic about your life, that energy radiates outward, making you more intriguing and desirable to others. Being a complete individual doesn't mean shutting others out or being self-absorbed. It's about balance. It's about finding joy in your own company, pursuing your interests, and nurturing your passions, while still being open to connection. People are naturally drawn to those who are content and thriving in their own world. When they see that you don't depend on them for happiness, they begin to see you as someone worth missing, someone whose presence in their life adds value but isn't the sole source of it. In relationships, showing your complete self can create a dynamic of mutual respect and admiration. When you pursue your own growth and happiness, you set a standard. You show that you value yourself enough to invest in your own life, and in turn, you expect others to do the same. This can be incredibly attractive and can make others more eager to be a part of your journey. They'll want to share in your experiences, not because they feel obligated, but because they see the value in what you bring to the table. It's also important to recognize that showing your complete self requires vulnerability. It means being honest about who you are, what you want, and what you're passionate about. It means not hiding parts of yourself for fear of being judged or rejected. When you are authentic and open, you give others permission to do the same. This authenticity creates deeper, more meaningful connections because it's based on truth rather than on trying to meet someone else's expectations. Another key aspect of showing your complete self is maintaining your independence. In relationships, it's easy to become overly reliant on the other person, to the point where your happiness and identity become intertwined with theirs. But when you keep pursuing your own goals, spending time with friends and family, and enjoying your hobbies, you remind yourself, and them, that you are an individual first and foremost. This independence makes the relationship healthier because it's based on choice rather than need. People are often more attracted to those who are confident and self-assured. When you show your complete self, you exude a sense of confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. This confidence is magnetic. It draws people in because they see someone who is grounded, secure, and content in their own skin. This doesn't mean you won't have moments of doubt or insecurity, but it does mean that you're committed to being true to yourself, no matter what. Focusing on your personal growth and happiness also means that you are constantly evolving. You're not stagnant, waiting for someone else to come along and complete you. Instead, you're always learning, growing, and pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself. This growth keeps your life exciting and dynamic, and it ensures that you're always bringing something new and valuable to your relationships. This self-respect makes others respect you more because they see that you won't tolerate being taken for granted or treated poorly. As you continue to pursue your interests and passions, you'll find that your life becomes more fulfilling. You'll have a sense of purpose and direction that isn't dependent on anyone else. This fulfillment makes you less likely to cling to relationships that aren't serving you because you know that your happiness doesn't hinge on them. Instead, you can approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, knowing that you bring something valuable to the table. One of the greatest benefits of showing your complete self is the impact it has on your self-esteem. When you live in alignment with your true self, you feel more confident, more authentic, and more at peace. You're not trying to fit into someone else's mold or to be something you're not. You're simply being you, and that's more than enough. This self-assuredness not only enhances your relationships but also improves your overall quality of life. When you live with this kind of integrity, you attract people who appreciate and value you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. You'll notice that your relationships become more authentic and fulfilling. You'll be surrounded by people who appreciate you for the unique individual you are, rather than for the role you play in their lives. These relationships will be based on mutual respect, admiration, and genuine connection, rather than on superficial needs or expectations. It's about honoring who you are and living in a way that reflects your true self. It's about creating a life that is fulfilling and meaningful on your own terms, not based on what others expect or demand from you. When you live this way, you not only enhance your own life but also inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of authenticity, confidence, and self-assurance, and that's something worth missing. Show your complete self is not just for the sake of others, but for your own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. It's a journey worth taking, and it's one that will lead to deeper, more meaningful connections, and a life that truly reflects who you are. Rule number 3. Don't give in to attention bait. When they send you a casual emoji or text saying hello, if you reply super fast every time, it's like you're just sitting around waiting for them. This makes you seem less valuable in their eyes. The human brain doesn't value what can be easily attained. If you don't always give them your immediate attention, they'll have to work harder to get it. Over time, they'll realize they can't keep you interested with minimal effort. So, next time they send one of those casual messages, don't rush to reply. Take your time. This shows you have your own dreams and purposes in life and aren't just waiting around for their attention. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about demonstrating that you have a full life outside of them. When you don't jump at every message, your attention seems more valuable. It makes them work a bit harder to earn your interest, which is when they begin to value it more. Now, let's think about why this is so important, not just for your relationships but for your overall well-being. The way you manage your attention reflects how you value yourself. If you're constantly available, it sends a message, not just to others but to yourself, that your time isn't worth much. And when you start believing that, it can affect your self-esteem, your confidence, and even your sense of purpose. You begin to tie your worth to the responses you get from others, which can be a dangerous cycle. But when you start valuing your own time and attention, you begin to build a healthier relationship with yourself. You start to see that your time is precious, that it's something to be guarded, something to be cherished. This shift in mindset can transform the way you interact with the world. Imagine for a moment the difference it makes when you don't feel the need to respond immediately. It's not just about creating a sense of mystery or keeping someone on their toes. It's about reclaiming your own space, your own time. When you don't rush to respond, you give yourself a moment to breathe, to reflect, to decide if this interaction is something you truly want to engage with. This pause is powerful. It's a moment where you remind yourself that you are in control, that you are not simply reacting to the world around you, but choosing how to engage with it. And this choice, this act of pausing, can make you feel more grounded, more centered, and more in tune with your own needs and desires. And here's where it gets interesting. When you start to value your own attention, others begin to value it too. People are naturally drawn to what they perceive as scarce or difficult to obtain. When you make your attention something that isn't easily given away, it becomes more desirable. It's a bit like supply and demand. The less available you are, the more people want to connect with you. But this isn't about manipulating others or playing games. It's about shifting the dynamics so that your relationships are more balanced, more respectful, and more fulfilling. When others see that you value yourself, they are more likely to respect your boundaries, to appreciate your time, and to put more effort into their interactions with you. Now, think about how this principle can be applied not just to romantic relationships but to every area of your life. Whether it's in friendships, work relationships, or even with family, the way you manage your attention can have a profound impact. If you're always the one who's available, the one who's constantly giving, you can easily become overwhelmed, drained, and resentful. But when you start to set boundaries, when you start to be more intentional about where you place your attention, you create a healthier dynamic. You create space for yourself to recharge, to focus on your own goals and dreams, and to engage with others in a way that feels balanced and fulfilling. Let's also talk about the psychological effects of not giving into attention bait. When you don't rush to respond, you're essentially teaching your brain that it's okay to wait, that it's okay to not be constantly stimulated by external interactions. This can help reduce anxiety, especially in a world where we're constantly bombarded with notifications and messages. It can also help you build patience and resilience, as you learn to be comfortable with not immediately reacting to every little thing that comes your way. Over time, this can lead to a greater sense of inner peace and stability, as you become less dependent on external validation and more grounded in your own sense of self-worth. But let's be clear, this isn't about being aloof or distant. It's about being intentional. It's about choosing when and how you engage with others, rather than letting others dictate your availability. It's about recognizing that your attention is a valuable resource, one that shouldn't be given away lightly. When you approach your interactions with this mindset, you'll find that your relationships become richer, deeper, and more meaningful. You'll start to attract people who respect your boundaries, who appreciate your time, and who value you for who you are, not just for how quickly you respond to their messages. As you begin to implement this principle, you may notice a shift in how people respond to you. Some may become more eager to connect, while others may pull away. And that's okay. Not everyone will be comfortable with the new dynamic, especially if they've been used to having easy access to your attention. But remember, this isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about creating relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. It's about surrounding yourself with people who see your worth and who are willing to put in the effort to maintain a meaningful connection with you. One of the most important aspects of this approach is the message it sends to yourself. When you don't give in to attention bait, you're telling yourself that your time is valuable, that your life is full and meaningful, and that you don't need to be constantly validated by others. This can be incredibly empowering. It's a way of reclaiming your own narrative, of taking control of how you spend your time and who you spend it with. And when you feel empowered in this way, it has a ripple effect on every aspect of your life. You become more confident, more self-assured, and more at peace with who you are. So, next time you receive one of those casual messages, take a moment to pause. Reflect on how you want to respond, if at all. Consider what message you're sending, not just to the other person, but to yourself. Are you giving away your attention too easily? Are you allowing others to dictate your availability? Or are you valuing your time, your energy, and your own sense of self-worth? By making this simple shift, you can begin to transform not just your relationships, but your entire approach to life. You'll start to see that when you value yourself, others will too. And that's when the real magic happens. This isn't just about managing your attention, it's about managing your life. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you focus on. It's about realizing that your attention is one of the most valuable things you have, and it's worth protecting. When you start to see it this way, everything changes. You become more selective, more intentional, and more in control. And that's when you start to build a life that truly reflects your values, your goals, and your deepest desires. You are the architect of your own life. The way you manage your attention is one of the most powerful tools you have in shaping that life. So don't give it away lightly. Be intentional, be mindful, and most importantly, be true to yourself. When you do, you'll find that the world responds in kind, offering you relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are more aligned. Next rule, the power of leaving someone wanting more. Picture a young woman named Sarah. She had a special way of connecting with people. Her conversations were always engaging, and she knew just how to keep others interested. But what really made Sarah stand out was her ability to end conversations at just the right moment, leaving people eager for more. Sarah had a good friend named David. Their friendship was something they both cherished, and they often found themselves deep in conversation about all sorts of topics. One evening, they were talking about a movie they both loved. The conversation was going so well that it felt like they could talk all night. But Sarah, sensing that they had reached a high point, suddenly said with a smile, "I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the sequel. Let's pick this up tomorrow, okay?" David, caught a bit off guard, agreed. As they said goodnight, he found himself thinking about their next conversation, excited for what was to come. The next day, David couldn't shake the feeling of anticipation. He replayed their conversation in his head, eager to dive back into their discussion. When they finally met again, he was more enthusiastic than ever. Sarah had created a sense of longing, making him look forward to their time together even more. She knew the secret of leaving conversations at their peak, turning every interaction into something memorable. As their friendship continued, Sarah perfected this art. Whether they were chatting over lunch or discussing life's challenges, she always made sure to end on a high note. She never let their conversations drag on until they became dull. Instead, she left David with something to look forward to each time, making him appreciate their moments together even more. David began to see the impact of Sarah's approach on his own life. He noticed that by ending conversations while they were still lively, he left others wanting more as well. He started to do the same with his friends and colleagues, and soon found that people were more excited to spend time with him. Sarah's ability to leave people wanting more wasn't about playing games or keeping people at a distance. It was about understanding the power of timing and the beauty of anticipation. By focusing on quality over quantity, she made sure her presence was always appreciated, never taken for granted. In her relationships, Sarah became someone others couldn't wait to see again. People began to see her as a refreshing presence, someone who brought energy and joy into their lives. Her knack for leaving them wanting more meant that every time they were together, it felt special, leaving them eagerly awaiting the next time they could share a moment with her. David often thought about how much Sarah had taught him, just by the way she handled their conversations. He realized that by mastering the art of leaving people wanting more, he could create stronger, more meaningful connections. It wasn't about cutting things short, it was about knowing when to end things on a high note, making every interaction memorable. So, if there's one lesson to take from Sarah's story, it's this: know when to end things on a high note. Focus on making every conversation count, and leave others with a sense of anticipation. By doing so, you'll ensure that your presence is always something to be treasured, making people look forward to the next time they can spend with you. Rule number 5: spark the flames of jealousy. Jealousy is often misunderstood, labeled as something purely negative, a destructive force to be avoided. But what if we approached it differently? What if we saw it as a catalyst, a way to reignite interest and connection? You see, jealousy, when handled with care and wisdom, can be an incredibly powerful tool, not for manipulation or mind games, but for fostering deeper awareness and rekindling affection. Imagine for a moment that you're holding a delicate ember, something that can either warm a cold night or, if mishandled, burn everything around it. The key lies in how you use it. We've all experienced that subtle sting when we see someone we care about thriving in the company of others, enjoying themselves, perhaps even more than they did with us. It's not a pleasant feeling, but it's also not something to fear. Instead, it can be a wake-up call, a gentle nudge that says, "Hey, pay attention. Something important is slipping away." By sparking just a hint of jealousy, you're not trying to hurt anyone or play with their emotions, you're simply reminding them of what they might lose if they continue to take you for granted. Now, here's where the real magic happens. This process has to be authentic. People are incredibly perceptive, and they can sense when something isn't quite right. If your actions come across as forced or insincere, they won't have the desired effect. Instead of drawing someone closer, you might push them further away. The goal isn't to create a facade, but to genuinely live your life in a way that naturally attracts others. When you're fully engaged in your own life, whether it's through your work, hobbies, friendships, or simply finding joy in everyday moments, you become someone others want to be around. They see your energy, your passion, and they start to miss being part of it. Imagine, for instance, that you're at a social gathering, surrounded by friends, laughter filling the air. You're not focused on who's watching or what they might think, you're just immersed in the moment, genuinely enjoying yourself. This is the kind of energy that's contagious. When someone who has drifted away sees you in this light, it triggers something in them. They begin to recall the times when they were part of that joy, and suddenly, they start to feel a twinge of longing. It's a reminder of what they once had and what they might lose if they continue down the path of indifference. This approach is about living vibrantly and letting that vibrancy speak for itself. It's not about flaunting your life or making others feel inferior. It's about embracing your own happiness and letting that shine through. When you're truly happy, it shows, and that's what draws people back to you. It's like a magnet, pulling them closer, making them want to be part of your world again. And the beauty of it is that you're not forcing anything, you're just being yourself, living your life to the fullest. But let's talk about balance, because this is crucial. The line between sparking healthy jealousy and causing unnecessary pain can be thin. You want to tread carefully, with empathy and respect. This isn't about playing with someone's feelings, it's about creating a space where they can reflect on what they might be missing. You're giving them the opportunity to see you in a new light, to appreciate the richness you bring into their life. It's a gentle invitation, not a demand. Think of it as planting seeds, small but significant. When you share glimpses of your life, whether through a casual mention of a fun outing, a photo that captures a moment of joy, or even just the way you carry yourself, you're planting these seeds in their mind. They start to grow, slowly but surely, until one day they bloom into full-blown realization. They begin to see what they've been overlooking, what they've taken for granted, and it stirs something within them. It's not about making them feel bad, it's about helping them remember what's worth cherishing. However, this is not about putting on a show. Authenticity is key here. If you're not genuinely enjoying your life, people will see right through it. The goal is to find real happiness, to engage with the world around you in a way that feels true to who you are. When you do this, the rest will follow naturally. People will be drawn to your energy, your enthusiasm, and yes, they might even feel a bit of jealousy. But it's the kind of jealousy that makes them want to be closer to you, to share in the joy that you found. Let's not forget the importance of emotional intelligence in all of this. Understanding when to step forward and when to hold back is crucial. There's a delicate dance at play here, one that requires intuition and awareness. You want to create a sense of longing, but you also want to be mindful of the other person's feelings. This isn't about creating distance or building walls. It's about opening a door, leaving it slightly ajar, so they can choose to walk through it if they wish. As you navigate this process, it's important to stay grounded. The last thing you want is to lose yourself in the pursuit of someone else's attention. This journey is as much about your own growth and happiness as it is about rekindling a connection. When you focus on being the best version of yourself, finding joy in your own life, nurturing your own passions, you naturally become someone others want to be around. And when they see you thriving, it sparks that feeling of jealousy, but in a way that draws them closer, not pushes them away. Remember, this isn't about manipulating someone into missing you. It's about living your life fully and letting that fullness speak for itself. When you're truly content, when you're engaged in your own journey, it creates a ripple effect. Others start to feel that energy, that positivity, and they want to be part of it. They see the joy you bring into the world, and it makes them realize what they've been missing. So, let your life be the beacon. Shine brightly, not to outshine others, but to illuminate your own path. When you do this, you'll find that people are naturally drawn to your light. They'll start to feel that gentle pull, that whisper of jealousy, and they'll want to be part of your journey once again. But the beauty of it all is that you're not forcing anything. You're simply being yourself, living your life to the fullest, and letting that authenticity do the work for you. In the end, jealousy can be a powerful force, but only when used with care, empathy, and genuine intention. It's about creating a space where others can see what they've been missing, where they can reflect on the value you bring into their life. And when they do, they'll start to feel that longing, that desire to reconnect. But remember, this journey starts with you. It starts with living your life in a way that's true to who you are, embracing your own happiness, and letting that happiness radiate outward. When you do, you'll find that others are naturally drawn to your light, wanting to share in the joy you found. Next rule, it's about a psychological principle often overlooked, yet it holds the secret to deepening relationships, sparking intrigue, and leaving a lasting impression on those around you. Picture yourself in a conversation where you openly share your thoughts, experiences, and emotions, laying everything bare. While this level of transparency is genuine, it also removes any element of mystery, and with that, the curiosity that keeps people engaged fades away. So, let's explore the psychology behind mystery, why it captivates, and how you can harness its power. People are naturally drawn to the unknown. It's embedded in our human nature to seek understanding, solve puzzles, and make sense of what we don't fully comprehend. When you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, you close the door to this fundamental curiosity. However, when you hold back, even just a little, you become an intriguing enigma. You awaken that innate desire to explore, to question, and to discover more about you. This isn't about being deceptive or secretive. It's about revealing yourself gradually, giving others the pleasure of uncovering who you are layer by layer. When people can't instantly categorize you, they are compelled to know more, drawn deeper into engagement. Reflect on those in your life who have most captivated your attention. Chances are, they didn't unveil everything about themselves in a single encounter. Instead, they revealed parts of themselves over time, just enough to leave you wondering what else lies beneath the surface. This creates a dynamic interaction, where each meeting feels like a new chapter in a book, an opportunity to uncover more, to see new sides of their personality, and to be pleasantly surprised by what you discover. It's the mystery that keeps you metaphorically turning the pages, eager for the next encounter. Now, consider how you present yourself to others. If you're someone who tends to share everything up front, I encourage you to experiment with a different approach. The next time you're in a conversation, whether with a new acquaintance or a longtime friend, try holding back just a little. If you had an interesting day, resist the urge to narrate every detail. Instead, drop a hint, something that invites curiosity. For instance, you could say, "I experienced something really unexpected today," and then pause. Observe how this subtle change shifts the conversation's dynamic. Notice how it piques the other person's interest, drawing them in, eager to know more. This approach doesn't just make you more intriguing, it also empowers you. By controlling the flow of information, you steer the direction of the conversation. You're not merely sharing, you're actively engaging, creating a more interactive and engaging dialogue. It's a subtle but significant shift that can reshape how others perceive and connect with you. The mystery you cultivate acts as a magnet, attracting people and encouraging them to invest more time and energy into understanding who you are. It's crucial to understand that cultivating an air of mystery isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about respecting the natural rhythm at which relationships and connections evolve. Revealing everything too quickly can overwhelm others or diminish their interest, but when you allow them to discover you gradually, you honor the process of truly getting to know someone. You're offering them the gift of curiosity, the thrill of the chase, and the joy of discovery, powerful emotions that deepen bonds and create lasting impressions. You might ask, isn't it better to be fully open and transparent? While transparency has its value, so does pacing. It's not about withholding the truth, it's about sharing it thoughtfully and intentionally. When you adopt this approach, you'll find that people not only listen more attentively but also remember you more vividly. You'll stand out as someone not easily forgotten, someone who leaves a lasting impression. That's the power of mystery, creating a presence that lingers in the minds of others long after the conversation has ended. This principle isn't confined to social settings, it applies in professional environments too. In the workplace, maintaining an air of mystery can set you apart from your colleagues. When you don't reveal all your strategies, ideas, or plans up front, you preserve a competitive edge. Your colleagues and superiors may find themselves more intrigued by your work, more eager to see what you'll come up with next. It's a way to keep anticipation alive, making your contributions more valued and your presence more impactful. Consider it this way: if life is a story, you are the author of your own narrative. Every interaction, every conversation is a new chapter. If you reveal the entire plot at the beginning, there's little reason for anyone to continue reading. But by introducing suspense, weaving in unexpected twists and turns, you craft a narrative that others want to follow. They become invested in your story, eager to see how it unfolds. And as the author, you have the power to create a story that is not only compelling but also unforgettable. In relationships, this aura of mystery can be incredibly attractive. It keeps the connection fresh and exciting, even after years of knowing someone. By holding back just a little, by keeping a part of yourself reserved, you add depth to the relationship. You create a space where both partners continue to explore and discover new things about each other. This ongoing sense of discovery keeps the relationship vibrant and alive, preventing it from becoming stagnant or predictable. So, how do you cultivate this air of mystery without coming across as distant or aloof? The key lies in balance. Share enough to connect, but not so much that there's nothing left to discover. Be open, but leave room for curiosity. Engage, but avoid overexposure. This balance allows you to maintain intrigue while preserving the warmth and connection that make relationships meaningful. It's a delicate dance, but one that, when mastered, can significantly enhance the quality of your interactions. It isn't just about what you say, but how you say it. Your tone, body language, and expressions all contribute to the aura you project. When you speak with a hint of mystery, when your words suggest there's more beneath the surface, you captivate those around you. They become more attentive, more engaged, and more invested in what you have to share. This is the essence of capturing an audience, whether it's one person or a room full of people. Rule number 7, be charismatic and confident. There are magnetic qualities that draw people towards you and make them crave your presence. These traits aren't about being overly bold or dominant, but about showing comfort in your own skin and expressing yourself genuinely. When you're confident, you naturally exude an aura that makes others feel good around you and makes your absence more noticeable. Charisma often comes from making others feel valued and understood, not just from being the center of attention. When you leave a conversation, people should feel better for having interacted with you. Let them associate you with positive feelings and experiences. Confidence, on the other hand, is about believing in your own worth and abilities without needing constant validation from others. This doesn't mean you won't have insecurities or doubts, but you won't let them dominate your interactions. Confidence is shown through your body language, how you handle challenges, and your willingness to step out of your comfort zone. By being charismatic and confident, you leave a lasting impression on those around you, making them miss your energy and presence, eagerly awaiting the next opportunity to be in your company. As we journey through life, we encounter countless individuals, each leaving an imprint on us in one way or another. But have you ever wondered what makes certain people unforgettable? What is it about them that makes you crave their presence, their energy, and their company? The answer lies in a powerful combination of charisma and confidence. These two traits are like magnets, drawing people toward you, making them eager to listen, and leaving them wanting more even after you've left the room. Charisma isn't about being the loudest voice in the room or always being the center of attention. Instead, it's about how you make others feel when they're around you. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel valued, understood, and important. It's about the small things, listening intently when someone speaks, making eye contact, and responding with genuine interest. When you exude charisma, you create an environment where people feel safe and appreciated, and that's what makes them want to be around you. Confidence, on the other hand, is rooted in self-belief. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive of others, but about knowing your worth and not needing constant reassurance from those around you. True confidence comes from within. It's a quiet assurance that you are enough just as you are. This doesn't mean you won't experience moments of doubt or insecurity. Everyone does. However, confidence means you don't let those doubts define you or control how you interact with others. When you combine charisma and confidence, you create a powerful presence that is hard to ignore. You walk into a room, and people take notice, not because you're demanding attention, but because you naturally command it. Your body language reflects your inner confidence, standing tall, shoulders back, and making deliberate, purposeful movements. This nonverbal communication speaks volumes and can often convey more than words ever could. In conversations, charisma and confidence work hand in hand. You listen just as much as you speak, making others feel heard and respected. You're not afraid to share your thoughts and opinions, but you do so in a way that invites discussion rather than shutting it down. This balance creates a dynamic where people are drawn to your energy, eager to engage with you and learn from you. One of the most significant aspects of charisma is how you make others feel about themselves. When people leave a conversation with you, they should feel uplifted, inspired, and better about themselves. This is the essence of charisma. It's not about boosting your own ego, but about lifting others. When you consistently leave people with positive feelings, they will associate those good vibes with you, making your absence felt and your presence eagerly anticipated. Confidence, on the other hand, ensures that you're not swayed by every opinion or criticism that comes your way. It's about having a strong sense of self that isn't easily shaken by external factors. This stability makes you reliable in the eyes of others. They know they can count on you to be the same person no matter the circumstances. It's this reliability that deepens connections and builds trust, which are crucial in any relationship. When you live with charisma and confidence, you naturally attract opportunities. People want to work with you, be around you, and include you in their circles. Your energy is contagious, and your presence is felt even when you're not physically there. This kind of influence is powerful, and it's something that you can cultivate by being true to yourself, embracing your strengths, and being comfortable in your own skin. However, it's essential to remember that confidence doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending to be perfect. It's about acknowledging your imperfections and still feeling good about who you are. This authenticity is what makes your confidence believable and your charisma relatable. People are drawn to realness, not perfection, and when you can show up as your true self, it resonates deeply with those around you. As you practice these qualities, you'll notice a shift in how people respond to you. Conversations will flow more naturally, connections will deepen, and you'll find that people are more inclined to seek your company. They'll miss your energy when you're not around, and they'll look forward to the next time they can be in your presence. This is the true power of charisma and confidence.